Hello, everyone. I'm Joseph Giarraputo, the founder and editorial director of Global Finance, speaking to you from New York. I'll be joined by Enno-Burghard Weitzel, the Senior VP of Strategy and Business Development at Surecomp. Global Finance recently named Surecomp the best trade finance software provider in the world. Welcome, Enno, and congratulations to you and your staff on the award.
Thanks, Joseph. It's a pleasure being here, and it was a great honor for us to receive that award. And it's a great recognition for the work that we've been doing and the trust that we're receiving from our customers.
Okay, it was well deserved too. All right, tell us, why is digital transformation critical for trade finance today?
I guess there's two levels to that. We need to digitize to drive down costs to foster financial inclusion and make trade finance instrument available to the smaller businesses in this world. And then if you look within an organization, it's the rather classical aspect of increasing operational efficiency by spending less resources on the transaction, increasing automation. In many organizations, we have a retirement gap. So many experienced colleagues working in trade finance, guarantees, letters of credit, they are close to or approaching pension date, and organizations need a solution to replace some of their experience with technical solutions. We have an ever-increasing compliance request where organizations want to get it right every single transaction across all their global operations. So digitization can definitely support in this one. And overall, it's a question of resource management. So you want to have transparency on where you're spending what type of resources. You want to have an outstanding reporting. You want to manage your limits and see which issuers are giving you what type of utilization. So these are just few aspects of why digitization is pivotal to organizations to drive their business.
What are the biggest challenges to companies in implementing digital trade finance solutions?
Typically, you'd say the biggest challenge is somehow related to IT or technology. But most of the times, the feedback we're getting is it's a question of the mindset shift within the organizations. So typically, there is a group of open and tech-savvy people within an organization that want to drive the change. And then there's a myriad of drawbacks within an organization. And that type of change is what we need to foster. So that while yesterday we did it on paper, only pandemic told us that it is possible to do it without paper globally. Now, after pandemic left, we somehow have the tendency to go back to the old process that we were used to. But we need to remind ourselves that new processes are possible. So while being an IT vendor and selling solutions in the tech space, it's that operational shift that we need to foster. And yes, of course, it's also a question of IT resources, but SaaS solutions can cover for that one. And say the last big challenge that we typically hear in the organizations is no one wants to bet on the wrong horse. And while things are still evolving and standards are still evolving, you don't want to be the one that was betting on the wrong solution. And hence, the solutions that will actually foster are those that are open and then can adjust to changing environment out there. Right?
What options do companies have if they need to automate trade finance, but don't have resources to build a custom digital trade finance platform?
So these make or buy questions are typically to be answered with make if it is a topic of strategic core interest of the company. Now, in most of the cases, the core of the business of the company is not doing trade finance, where trade finance is a supportive unit that supports the prime business of the company. That may be selling, buying goods and services, or producing manufacturing products. But the core is not to manage guarantees and manage letters of credit or standbys. So recommendably, arguably, the decision should go to buy and rely on experts, specialized IT vendors that provide powerful solutions. Now, why also? Because most of the times, the internal scarce resources that you have should be directed to support the core functionalities that you have. So you have that question of opportunity cost within. And I guess one of the other aspects that organizations should have in mind is the speed of innovation. If you build something, and yes, many internal IT departments are outstanding departments, and they definitely can build these type of solutions. But the speed of innovation will most likely be lower than if you rely and if you partner with a specialized IT vendor. Why so? Even we, as one of the IT vendors in that space, and as you awarded us, rather one of the leading ones, even we partner with specialized fintechs, because we can, by being open and collaborating with fintechs, we can bring far more functionality, far more value at a way faster innovation cycle to the users than if we thought we need to do everything on our own. And especially the trade finance world out there is so diverse, so versatile, that there are so many specialized solutions that no one platform, no one provider could make it all. So going back to the question, what if an organization needs or feels the need to automate and can't make it? Well, I should say no worries, right? There are fantastic solutions out there.
What is Surecomp, and how does it help drive efficiency and scalability in trade finance?
Surecomp is the leading provider of trade finance software solutions to financial institutions and corporates across the globe. We're, as mentioned, very proud to have received the award from Global Finance of being the leading provider in that space. And we pride ourselves of enjoying the trust of these banks and corporates for the last 3 decades. So what do? Trade finance, even today, can somehow be compared with cash management a few decades ago, where our processes in the trade finance space are still heavily manual. Almost every single transaction is touched with manual operational steps, either within the corporate or within the banks. Whereas in the cash management, we enjoy 99% plus STP rates. Now, our solutions, like our collaborative platform Revo, enable users 3 value streams. A, they can manage their trade finance business. That is covering all the internal processes from requesting a transaction, approving a transaction, actually deciding upon who should be the issuer and who that application should be sent to. Managing the limits and the counterparts. That is all the internal management of the trade finance business. The second value stream that our solutions offer is the connectivity, basically connecting the dots, connecting the corporates to the financial institutions, the banks and the insurance companies, but also connecting both parties, the corporates and the financial institutions, to the fintechs. Or from the perspective of the fintechs, enabling the fintechs to provide their solutions to a far broader audience, namely the corporates and the financial institutions using our solutions, than they could do without an aggregator platform like ourselves. And the third one is very closely related to that fintech aspect or partnership aspect. We can enrich the user experience within trade finance instruments. Examples can be a digital guarantee in a transaction, right? Completely removing paper, and not only in the issuance phase, but especially in the termination phase, enabling a much faster process, which will free up the risk limit and hence save cost. Or working with an electronic bill of lading under a letter of credit. Again, enabling you to get rid of the paper and as an exporter, receive your payment faster because the documents are with the importer in a question of milliseconds rather than having weeks for the express to arrive. So it's that manage, connect, enrich, where our solutions enable corporates to drive efficiency and scale, basically.
Okay, very interesting. Now finally, what innovations will shape the future of trade finance?
Without looking too far in the future, what are the innovation or the technologies that are keeping us busy today, and where if we bring them today, users will use them in the, say, quarters to come. It is digital documents. So again, replacing a guarantee or a paper-based letter of credit with true digital solutions. We're very closely working with the ICC on a global level and in national units to drive the legislation and make sure that the legislation, the MLETR, will come to national legislations in a way that it can be operated seamlessly. The second big aspect is artificial intelligence. It's all around. It's not only ChatGPT, and ChatGPT is not doing trade finance, but there are various large language models that currently are developed and fine-tuned and trained for the trade finance space. Now, what could be applicational use cases? In a guarantee, there will always be a guarantee text, and you need to check whether you can accept that text if, say, the bank or the counterpart is putting the text on you. Now, while today you will have to ask your legal counsel to check that guarantee text, tomorrow, if there was a large language model that can do that, you, the business user, can have a review of saying, hey, out of these 28 clauses, 22 are auto-accepted, and you only need to look into 4. And one of them may be good for you. One clause may be missing because you will have set the rules of what you and your organization need, and it's not in the text. And then you can make better use of that scarce resource of your legal counsel and tell them, hey, don't look at the 22 clauses that are auto-accepted. Please look at the 4 where we need your review. And that will enable business users to support the process in a much different way. And I guess the last aspect of innovation is, or maybe sound boring from an innovation point of view, but it is open standards. We don't have standards in guarantee and letters of credit when it comes to enabling interoperability, right? Our platform can be fantastic, but it's worth only half of it if it can't communicate with the outside world. Now, while we enjoy the trust of 250 banks across the globe, we can relatively easily connect our platform to these banks. It also needs connectivity to the banks that don't use our back office systems. Yes, we have our APIs, but if every single tech vendor has their set of APIs, it becomes very cumbersome and, say, effort for these banks to connect to the various fintechs. So that's why open standards are so important. And so the innovation is from a tech side and from a, say, standard setting side. Not to mention the legal side, and maybe closing that answer with a, say, half smiling face. We just saw the rule of the Saskatchewan judge arguing that a contract was legally accepted by sending the emoji with the thumbs up. You can call that a legal innovation, right? And we always need to be mindful that sometimes the solution is way easier than the tech companies think.
Enno, this was all very, very interesting. And thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed it too. And thanks.
Definitely did.
Thanks to all of our viewers for joining us.